When we talk about attracting a specific person into your life, most people immediately jump into how they can get that person to notice them, like them, or choose them. But that's the wrong place to start. Because attraction, real, lasting, magnetic attraction, begins within you. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And this is the part most people miss. It's not about becoming someone else to impress them. It's about becoming the most authentic, aligned, elevated version of yourself. That version of you, the one who is confident, clear, emotionally grounded, deeply self-respecting, that's who naturally attracts the specific person you're thinking about. And here's the key. When you become energetically aligned with the version of you that already has that relationship, the universe responds in kind. See, most people try to change their outer world to attract someone. They alter their appearance. They manipulate the conversation. They obsess over texts and responses. But all of that comes from fear, from lack, from I'm not enough yet. And what that energy actually does is repel the very thing you want. Why? Because it's based in insecurity. You don't attract love from emptiness. You attract love from wholeness. So you have to ask yourself, if the person you're trying to attract suddenly showed up in your life tomorrow, would you be ready? Would you be emotionally available? Would you feel confident, calm, and worthy of receiving that connection? Or would you be anxious, second-guessing yourself, fearful of losing them? Attraction starts with alignment. That means getting crystal clear on who you are, what you value, what you stand for, and most importantly, how you treat yourself. Because people mirror back to you the way you've been treating yourself internally. If you're constantly doubting yourself, you'll attract people who doubt you. If you ignore your own needs, you'll attract people who do the same. But when you begin to honor yourself, you send out a new signal, a powerful frequency that says, I know who I am and I know what I deserve. And that frequency pulls in the kind of connection that's aligned with your truth, not your wounds. So if there's a specific person you want to draw into your life, don't start by chasing them. Start by becoming the version of you that would naturally attract them. What does that version of you look like? How do they walk, speak, carry themselves? How do they handle rejection? How do they show up in the world, not for validation, but from grounded self-worth? Get really honest about what needs to shift. Maybe it's your confidence. Maybe it's how you speak to yourself when you're alone. Maybe it's your emotional availability. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be present with yourself. You need to stop running from the parts of you that feel small and start nurturing them into strength. Because once you do that, once you are fully aligned with the version of yourself that holds space for healthy, powerful, reciprocal love, you stop chasing, you stop needing, and you start attracting. Not by force, but by frequency. So don't ask, how do I get them? Ask, how do I become the version of me who already has them? That shift in mindset changes everything. If you truly want to attract a specific person into your life, you have to understand the power of your imagination. Most people are using their imagination against themselves, replaying past disappointments, worrying about what might go wrong, doubting whether they're good enough. And what happens? That energy becomes your reality. But when you consciously direct your imagination, it becomes your most powerful tool. Every single thing we create begins in the mind. Bob Proctor used to say, if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. That applies to relationships too. If you want a specific person to enter your life, you must first create the relationship in your inner world vividly, consistently, emotionally, before it ever shows up in your outer world. This is where visualization becomes essential, but not just random daydreaming. I'm talking about focused, intentional, emotionally charged imagination. You must see the relationship. You must feel what it would be like to already have it. You're not hoping or wishing. You're experiencing it in your subconscious mind as if it's real. Right now, close your eyes and imagine this person. See them smiling with you, talking to you, looking into your eyes. Feel the warmth, the comfort, the connection. Let your mind rehearse the feeling of being loved, wanted, appreciated. The more specific you are, the clearer the picture becomes. The stronger the emotional imprint it leaves on your subconscious. And it's your subconscious that sets your vibration, and your vibration is what does the attracting. But most people won't do this. They think it's silly. Or they try it once or twice, then go back to obsessing over why they're not receiving that text or getting that attention. But here's the truth. Your current reality is just old news. It's a reflection of your past thoughts and feelings. If you want a new experience, you have to hold a new image long enough for reality to catch up. This is a discipline. It's not about controlling the other person. It's about controlling your focus. Every time you catch yourself worrying or doubting, stop and return to the vision. Let the inner world be more real to you than the current one, because that's how you reshape your energy field. That's how you begin to match the frequency of the relationship you want. Now here's where people get stuck. They think visualization is about getting something, but that mindset still comes from lack. You don't visualize because you're desperate to change your situation. You visualize because it feels good to do it. It aligns you, it connects you to who you really are, a creator. You don't wait for life to bring you what you want. You become a match to it by stepping into the feeling of already having it. And remember, this isn't just about pictures, it's about feeling. The emotion is what energizes the image. The feeling is what imprints the subconscious. So it's not enough to see them with you. You have to feel the love, the ease, the joy of that connection. And feel it consistently. Do it every day. Morning, night, whenever your mind drifts into doubt, bring it back. Rehearse the scene again. Feel it more deeply. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes. And eventually your external world will start to reflect what you've already created internally. It always begins within. And when you commit to that inner image with certainty and feeling, you become magnetic. That's when attraction is no longer about luck. It's about alignment. One of the most important yet misunderstood parts of attracting a specific person into your life is the art of letting go. Now, this might sound counterintuitive at first. You're probably thinking, why would I let go if I'm trying to attract them? But here's the truth. Attachment repels, detachment attracts. Not emotionally detaching from the vision, but detaching from the neediness, from the desperation, from the fear that it might not happen. You see, when you're obsessively focused on when they're going to text, why they haven't called, what they're thinking, what they're doing, that mental loop is rooted in lack. It's a signal to the universe that says, I don't have what I want. And energy doesn't lie. No matter what you say or affirm, if your vibration is shouting lack, then more lack is exactly what you'll attract. Detachment is not giving up on what you desire. It's trusting that what's meant for you is already yours. It's having the confidence to know that this specific person, or someone even better, is on their way. And you don't have to force anything to make it happen. Because real attraction doesn't come from pressure. It comes from ease, confidence, alignment. Have you ever noticed that when you stop obsessing over something, it often shows up? That text comes when you finally let go. That opportunity arrives when you've stopped chasing. That's not an accident. That's alignment. The space you create by letting go gives the universe a channel to work through. And until you release the grip, you're blocking the very thing you say you want. Letting go also allows you to come back to yourself. It lets you stop living in anxiety and start living in peace. It shifts your focus from what you can't control, which is another person, to what you can control, which is your energy. And your energy is everything. When you're calm, present, fulfilled, and focused on your own growth, you become incredibly magnetic. That's when people notice you. That's when they feel drawn to you without even knowing why. But when you're constantly checking your phone, questioning your worth based on someone else's attention, you give away all your power. And attraction can't exist where power has been abandoned. You've got to bring that energy back home, back into your body, your heart, your mind, and say, I want this, I see this, I believe this, but I'm okay right now. I'm whole, with or without it. That energy of peace, of non-attachment, sends out a powerful frequency. It tells the universe, I trust, I'm aligned, I'm not chasing, I'm attracting. And that is the vibration that opens doors. So if you're holding too tightly, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to this person you desire, I want you to ask yourself, what would it feel like to relax, to surrender the need to control the outcome, to simply know that what's meant for you can never miss you? This is where the magic happens. Not when you chase, not when you force, but when you trust, release, and allow. That's when they show up. That's when it unfolds. And that's when you realize you never needed to beg for it. You only needed to believe. Let's be honest. Most people have a very one-sided view of attraction. They're focused entirely on the other person. What do they like? What do they want? How do I get them to notice me, choose me, stay with me? But that's the wrong focus. Because real attraction is not about chasing someone else. It's about matching their energy. It's about becoming someone who naturally belongs in the kind of relationship you desire. Think about the person you want to attract. Who are they? What are their qualities? Are they confident, kind, passionate, grounded? Do they live with purpose? Do they communicate well? Now pause and ask yourself, am I showing up with those same qualities? Am I the kind of person that they would be excited to meet, connect with, grow with? You don't attract what you think you deserve. You attract what you energetically mirror. That means if you're looking for someone who is emotionally mature, you have to be emotionally mature. If you want someone who's stable and driven, you've got to show up with drive and stability in your own life. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be in motion. Attraction is about resonance. When you resonate at the same frequency as someone else, they feel it, even without words. It's the invisible pull. But if you're hoping to attract someone amazing while living with doubt, fear, low self-worth, or inconsistency, there's going to be an energetic mismatch. They won't be drawn in because you're not vibrating on their level. This isn't about pretending or performing. It's about becoming deeply aligned with the person you want to be. Because you're not just trying to win someone, you're trying to create a meaningful connection. And meaningful connections require mirrored values, habits, and energy. So, the work isn't in convincing someone to love you. It's in becoming someone who is so rooted in their own identity, their own vision, their own purpose, that you effortlessly draw in people who match your light. You won't have to chase anyone when you're walking in alignment. The right ones will feel it and they'll gravitate toward you. The beautiful part is this process not only brings the right people closer, it naturally removes the ones who don't fit. You'll stop settling. You'll stop tolerating half-hearted connections. Because the more you raise your energy, the more you recognize what doesn't match it. So ask yourself, what version of me would attract this person naturally? Not from a place of striving, but from a place of truth. How do they act? How do they show up each day? How do they treat themselves? And most importantly, what do they believe about love, about connection, about their own worth? One of the most underestimated aspects of attracting a specific person into your life is mastering your self-talk. That little voice in your head, it's shaping your reality more than you know. Most people go through their days unaware of the constant inner dialogue running behind the scenes. And often it's filled with self-doubt, fear, insecurity, and stories that don't support their desires. Think about it. If you're constantly telling yourself, they probably don't like me, I'm not good enough, people always leave, or I never get the one I really want, then what are you broadcasting into the universe? You're aligning your thoughts, and therefore your energy, with rejection, unworthiness, and failure. And the universe responds not to what you want, but to what you believe. Self-talk is powerful because it's the bridge between your conscious desire and your subconscious programming. You can say affirmations all day long, but if underneath that you're silently repeating a story of fear or lack, then the subconscious, which is far more powerful, will win. You'll sabotage your own energy. You'll unconsciously block the very connection you want. The key is to interrupt that pattern. You have to consciously rewrite your internal script. Start listening to how you speak to yourself about love, about relationships, and about this specific person you're trying to attract. If your thoughts are laced with worry, jealousy, or self-judgment, don't judge them, just notice them. Awareness is the first step. Then you pivot. You begin to replace the fear-based dialogue with truth-based confidence. Not fake positivity, but grounded, empowering statements that move you forward. Like, I am worthy of love. I bring peace and passion into relationships. I don't chase, I attract. If they're meant for me, they're already coming. This isn't just about repeating mantras, it's about feeling them. You speak them with emotion, you breathe life into them, you let them sink in until they start to replace the old beliefs that no longer serve you. Your inner voice is either your biggest supporter or your biggest block. And here's the secret. The more you practice speaking to yourself with confidence and clarity, the more your outer world will begin to shift. People respond to energy. When your self-talk is empowered, it shows in your posture, your tone, your presence. You begin to carry yourself differently. And that's incredibly attractive. Imagine walking into a room not wondering if someone will like you, but knowing you're worthy of love, knowing that the right connection is on its way, and that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. That's the energy that pulls people in without effort. So every day, take a moment to check in. Ask yourself, what am I telling myself right now? Is this helping me attract what I want or pushing it away? And if the answer doesn't serve you, change the thought. Replace it. Say something that lifts you up. Something that aligns with the version of you who already has what they desire. Because when your inner world aligns with your vision, the outer world has no choice but to catch up. One of the most transformative shifts you can make when trying to attract a specific person is learning to live as if it's already done. This is not about fantasy or denial. It's about aligning your present energy with the reality you want to create. Because the version of you who already has this person in their life doesn't wake up doubting, stressing, or questioning every little thing. They feel secure. They feel chosen. They feel connected. And that feeling, that vibration is what draws the experience toward you. This is the principle of living in the end. Instead of focusing on how or when they'll come, you begin to tune into what would it feel like if they were already here. Not just in your mind, but in your body, in your emotions, in your actions. Because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. It responds to emotion. So when you feel the love, the connection, the peace, as if it's already yours. You begin to align with it more deeply and naturally. And when you're in alignment, resistance drops. You're no longer in a state of lack or waiting. You're in a state of receiving. That's where manifestation actually happens. Not when you're desperate for the outcome, but when you become the version of yourself who already lives in it. So ask yourself, what would change about how I carry myself today if I knew 100% that this person is already mine? How would I walk into a room? How would I speak? How would I treat myself? You'd likely be more calm, more confident, more centered. You'd probably stop trying so hard. You wouldn't be checking your phone every few minutes, looking for signs or overthinking texts. You'd be focused on being, not chasing. That's the power of this mindset. It allows you to take your energy off of doubt and redirect it into identity, into showing up as someone who is already in love, already supported, already enough. And when you do that, you not only become more magnetic, but you create a space for the other person to meet you in that energy. It's no longer about pulling them in, it's about meeting them in alignment. This also changes your decisions. You stop acting out of fear. You stop reacting impulsively or doing things to get a response. Instead, you act with self-trust. You make choices that match your vision. You hold boundaries with grace. You give yourself the respect you want from others, and that respect radiates outward. Living in the end is not just a technique, it's a lifestyle. It's a daily choice to trust that what you've asked for is already making its way to you, and your job is simply to match it. Emotionally, energetically, and mentally, and when you begin to live in that vibration consistently, life has a way of catching up to your inner reality. That person you desire starts showing up. Not because you chased them, but because you became the version of yourself that was ready to receive them.